Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. Today we're going to take a look at the Toads DI, this guy here, and we're going to talk about how that PTT circuit works. This is going to be a very entry-level introduction to what a transistor does and how it works to have your computer, through this board, tell your radio to PTT, just like you do with your microphone. So what actually is this board before we get too much farther? What we do is we take USB-C on one side, we run it through a CM108, which is an off-the-shelf, common jelly bean kind of sound card chip, and then we give you some pin headers on the back side here that enable you to connect to radios that don't already have a sound interface. What do you need a sound interface for? Well, a couple of things you can use a sound interface for are Winlink, FT8, APRS, AllStar. The list goes on and on. Any type of mode that you need to get data out of your computer and out into RF is where this guy shines. You can find these at temporarylyoffline.com, which is linked in the description down below. So if you take a look at the instruction manual, which will be linked in the description down below also, on page 7 you'll find a bunch of schematics, a bunch of simple circuit diagrams, and these are the building blocks that we're going to discuss in this series of videos. The first one is for carrier on Squelch. We'll do that in a different video. Then we get into PTT, and then we talk to audio in from the radio, and we talk to audio out to the radio. But for now, we're going to focus on this second schematic right here. On the left, we have a control signal coming from one of the GPIO, general purpose IO, input-output lines that are included in the CM108 chip. The CM108 has a variety of data lines available to it, and those are audio out for left channel, audio out for right channel, microphone to pick up sound from the room or our radios, things for volume up, volume down, the typical things that you would expect to find in a sound card. But also, it's got these general purpose IOs, and we're going to use general purpose IO 3, which is kind of an industry standard for activating the PTT. So you can go into programs like Direwolf for APRS or FLRig for rig control, and you can pick CM108 and it will actually know to use GPIO 3 to send the PTT signal to your radio. Over here on the right, we have the radio, and you would connect this into the PTT line from your microphone, or if you have one of your older Yaesu, ICOM, or Kenwood radios, or any other radio that has an interface port on the back of it, there's going to be a pin inside of that port that is specifically designed for PTT. And through the magic of transistors, which we're going to talk about today, we're going to use this signal from GPIO 3 to turn on this transistor to connect PTT to ground, which enables the PTT line inside of your radio. The main part of this circuit is this little guy right here. It's a BC547, but any similar NPN transistor will do. NPN transistor is something that we went over in our tech tests when we got our licenses in the first place. For some reason, we just label all transistors as Q, we label resistors as R, we label capacitors as C. It's just an agreed upon standard that we all know and love. Once we get deeper and deeper into this, you're going to come to expect it. When you see Q number thing on your silk screen of your circuit board or inside of a schematic or something along those lines, you're going to know it means transistor. Think of an NPN transistor as an electronic switch. It has three legs: the base, the collector, and the emitter. The collector goes to the radio's PTT input. The base is connected to our control signal, GPIO 3, on the Toads interface, and ground is very well grounded. When this GPIO pin is off, the transistor doesn't conduct anything. It's like a turned off light switch. When you send a little bit of current through here, and it gets reduced even farther through this resistor right here, which is a 10 kilo ohm resistor, that signals the transistor to connect the PTT to the ground. And it protects our sound card, and it protects everything else because it's just a switch. You can also think of this as an automotive relay in your car. You don't want your headlight power 50, 60 watts going through your fingertips, so there's a little tiny push button that activates a relay, and that relay has two sides. One side is the switch that your finger touches, and the other side is the high current that comes from the alternator or the battery in your system. This kind of works that same way. Most radios use an active low PTT input, which means they transmit when that pin is tied to ground. So when our transistor closes this circuit, it ties the radio's transmit pin to ground, and the radio starts transmitting. Just like if you had pushed the PTT button on the mic yourself. I made a prettier diagram. When you see transistors out in the wild, they're kind of half round shape with a flat side and a round side as you look down on them. And each one could have a different way that its pins on the bottom are. It could be emitter base collector, it could be emitter collector base. In this case, it's collector base emitter. Just verify that with the documentation that comes with your project or with the transistor itself. And so in this case, we've got a BC547, and you can see the collector, the base, and the emitter here. The collector goes to the radio's PTT. The base goes to that resistor, that 10 kilo ohm resistor that I showed you in the schematic. and then that connects to pin 7 on J2. And J2 is this little row of pins here. We typically call these pin headers, and you can either install pin headers directly or you can wire directly to the board. Depends on what your preferences are. And then finally, that emitter is connected over to ground, and that right there is the accepted symbol, schematic symbol for ground. So in plain English, the computer says transmit by turning on a GPIO pin. That tiny signal switches on the transistor. The transistor connects the radio's PTT to ground, and the radio starts transmitting. It's a very simple circuit, but it's a building block that you'll see everywhere in electronics. Once you understand this, you can spot transistors being used as switches in all kinds of ham radio projects. And right here is where I am prototyping and testing out this circuit. You can see my radio right here, and I'm going to be controlling it through the front microphone port because that's where my PTT line is. From there, I take a standard Ethernet cable and I plug it into an RJ45 breakout board. And what this has is RJ45 in on one side and RJ45 out on the other side. So I can put my microphone in there or I can leave it empty like I've done. And then on the side, it came with screw terminals, but I changed those over to pin headers to make it easier for me to use these things here. These are called DuPont wires, and they have a very special connector on them that makes it really easy for you to use with pin headers. And then over here, I've also installed pin headers that I can use those same DuPont wires with onto the Toads DI board. And then this goes out to this breadboard. And on the breadboard, I have 3 of those 4 circuits that I've talked about. We've got audio in and out, we have PTT, and the one that's missing is the carrier on Squelch. But this one right here, you can see that transistor in there. Let me get you zoomed in. And so right here, you can see that BC547. Like I said, it's got kind of a half round back and a flat on the front. And then it's got 3 different pins coming out of it, and I have different things connected. There's that 10 kilo ohm resistor. This one here goes off to the Toads digital interface. And this one here on the other side, which is connected to that 3rd pin, goes off to the radio. This is one of the many ways that you can do this, and breadboards, which is what this white board here in the background is, make it really easy for you to poke in and poke out different circuits and change things very rapidly, and they enable for very rapid prototyping. However, they're also kind of delicate, so there's other ways to do this as well. Once you get your circuit all figured out, you can use a double-sided PCB kit like this one here, and permanently solder those parts in, and it looks kind of similar to the way that breadboard is. So get it figured out here, get it permanently soldered here, draw it up, and maybe send it out to your favorite PCB fab shop in order to have it made. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel to follow along for more information on how these circuits work. We've still got the audio input circuit, the audio output circuit, and the carrier on Squelch circuit to go over. They'll be coming up in future videos. There is more information about the Toads digital interface, which helps you get any of your radios connected to your digital modes like AllStar or Winlink or FT8 or APRS in the description down below. You can also find one of these boards or even a daughter board with a 6-pin connector on it for those ICOM, Yaesu, and Kenwood radios that I talked about earlier that has all of these circuits already built into them. And since these are surface mount components, it's a little bit harder to see, but that transistor that we talked about is that blurry thing right next to that connector. I'll get you a better image of it. While you're waiting for the rest of the series to come out, there's a video right over here I think you'll enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.